back to another episode of Deca Debrief today on the podcast. We've got Itty. He's HRL of the Public Shatters Discord, as well as a VRL for Shatters in the Pub Halls Discord.
Hey guys, I don't know what I'm doing here. Great intro.
This is gonna be fun. I want to touch on like Monmig because I've kind of gathered some people's thoughts on like this month of the Mad God, but like the enchantment system. What do you think of it as a whole?
Okay, when they first were like testing with it, I thought it was gonna be awful. Mainly because they had those 4 slots, right? You had 4 different things. You could throw like 8 million DPS stats in them. So at first I thought it was gonna be bad, and then I looked at the version they had in the actual game, and I was like, okay, wait, this isn't like horrid. Like, it's reasonable, I guess. So I don't mind it.
You're expecting it to be like a little bit more overpowered.
Yeah, that's what it looked like it was going to be on testing. Like, it looked scary. People were getting like 2,000 HP or whatever. Like,
yeah, like you were getting like 120 HP buffs like 4 times over on like a Deca ring, so you could actually just like do that with like your armor and your ring, and I think it was like the ability or the weapon slot. And so you could actually just stack up like fucking like 7,000, 8,000 HP. It was the way that it was on testing was kind of absurd. So I see why they like pulled it back, because initially they announced this Month of the Mad God 2019, I think it was, and then they held on for a little bit because it wasn't quite ready, and the screenshots they had out didn't look so good. Then there was a testing session, didn't look so good. I was kind of happy with the way it turned out, but I feel like it's way too one-dimensional. It feels underhyped. It feels like they kind of put it out before it was even finished because they're just kind of pressured to like push it out.
I think they clearly did, because like you can't get all the slots yet, and there are just slots that are like sitting there.
Well, initially I think what their plan was that you'd use dust to unlock all 4 slots, like just the ones you get from exaltation dungeons. And I think Nolan told me was like, for your first slot you would get dust from Godland dungeons, which would be, for example, let's say like red dust from a Sprite World. And then you get like blue dust from the Lair of Draconis, and then like green dust from Exaltation Dungeons, and then like black dust from a Shatters or something. Like it would scale upwards. So you'd unlock the slots as you go up in like different tiers of dungeon difficulty, which I think is like, I like that idea so much more, especially because like early game players wouldn't be able to get enchantments until they are at least able to do a fungal, which is kind of silly.
Sounds a lot more interesting than what it is now.
Yeah, right now it's like one-dimensional.
It's just green.
It's just green, bro. It's just something
Green,
you do on the
and then
side.
you put your little +3 attack on your little staff.
Yeah, honestly, I don't pay too much attention to enchantments right now. I've been trying to look for gear that is enchantable from the Oryx Mania event, but I'm not like trying to unlock any of them. It doesn't really feel like it's worthwhile. Like I'll get +3 attacker. I really like the boomerang one. The boomerang one is super cool, and the staff and the wand.
Oh yeah, big fan of those.
Yeah, like actually interesting mod. By the way, Oryx Mania, what did you think?
Broken event.
Yeah.
Stupid event. Why did they do this? I mean, it's kind of like I'm glad that they nerfed it, but they might have needed to nerf it a bit more.
Yeah, having the guaranteed of each slot is like kind of absurd, but I mean, yeah, I'm not complaining because I'm benefiting for the most part, to be honest. Like I'm really enjoying being able to stack up enough Sword of Majesties and like wands, staffs, robes. Plus you still do have to like be able to solo an O3.
That's true. I guess for like end game players, it's a broken event. For everyone else, it's like, oh my god, I get to try Oryx.
Yeah, I do like the fact that like people are able to like try it more often now, because it's not just like, it's such a big time sink to have to go to an O3, so it's really nice to be able to just have a key where like some dude can just be like, oh, I'm gonna pop this Oryx Mania in US East, and then I'm gonna keep trying O3s until I get it. Like I think this is really good for early game and mid game players, as well as end game players alike. For us, it's actually just kind of broken, to be honest. Actually, yeah, especially when it gave exaltations, but I didn't mind it too much because I really don't like going for life exaltations. I feel like it's, like I said, it's like a fucking time waste. It feels like you spend so much time clearing the realm, going to castle, doing O1, then O2, and it just feels like things that I haven't had to do in a while. Like when was the last time you were like, oh, I need to do the wine cellar for like any reason besides O3?
Never.
Exactly.
Like years ago, actually. Genuinely years ago. Probably before O3 as well. Like needed tops.
How long have you been?
Wine cellar tops.
How long have you been playing the game?
10. I think my account is 10 years old.
10 years old.
I think I've played slightly longer than that.
Were you ever in the Realm Closers Discord?
No, I wasn't a Discord guy.
Okay. This
for
is
a really
like
long time, actually.
so. I think this was like the first Discord I had seen for Realm besides the Fame Train one. So like way back when before Lost Halls was a thing, there wasn't even a Shatters Discord back then. There's a Discord for Fame Train, and then there's a Discord for realm closing where like it was for people that didn't use the raiders, so you would have to go to realm closers and people would like call a realm and be like 7 rem 40 out of 85 people, and then everybody would run there for a wine cellar, and there'd be like we didn't have reactions back then, so somebody would just say ink in the chat and whatnot.
And then you would pray.
it, it was a
That's
little bit more
funny.
chaotic because it's like RSA, but anybody could type there.
Okay, old Discords, like, how do they work without the robots? Because, like, dude, I swear the robots are like
Essential.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like if there's no like funny robot, there's like a backup robot, and if that backup robot's fucked, like nobody knows what to do.
Yeah, nobody does runs. They're like, nope,
No,
no thanks.
not bothering. Pub Halls was the very first Realm Discord for, you guessed it, Lost Halls, a 1.0. And what it
Holy
would
crap.
be is there would be like 5 people that were trusted to like put an announcement in RSA, and they would just say your location today is US Southwest left, and that would be the location for the day. And what people would do is everybody would hop in there, and every time it hits 100, like whatever key would pop there. That was just kind of like standard etiquette. Is you waited for 100 people, and then you popped the key because you needed 100 people to do a Lost Halls back then. Not only was the gear scaling like really weak, like your best bow back then was a fucking coral bow. You also had how awful there wasn't even HP scaling back then. They set the scaling to basically be, by today's standard, like having 60 people in a run. That was just the default. You couldn't solo anything. You couldn't do it in small guilds. You could only do it with like a 100-man group.
I don't even remember that. I feel like during that period of the time, I just knew so little about the game, so I was just kind of like doing what everyone else was doing.
I messed around with it because I was interested, and everybody was like super excited over it. I think it was somebody got me into it. I think it was Need. Need showed me the Lost Halls Discord initially because he was like super excited about the new content. I was excited because everybody else was, and everybody in our old guild was just clamoring to try and like check out the new dungeon because like everybody had been so stuck on Shatters at the time. It was like the only endgame dungeon. Besides that was like Tomb, like Farming Life and Ring of the Pyramid, the best in Slot Ring.
Oh my god. Pyra. Dude, seeing people with Pyra was so cool.
Man, even back then when you got a Sphinx, you're just like, not that one.
True. Actually true. Nile was okay, but
Yeah, well,
oh
Nile's
man, the
like,
Pyra.
people liked Nile on classes like Knight because you could make use of like every stat and it was like kind of slow.
Yeah, oh my god. Experimental Ring was like
Oh,
insane when it first came out.
yeah, Expo is fucking goated, and then they had to, they nerfed it again like 2 or 3 years ago. For some reason, they just knocked like 1 vitality and 1 defense off of it or something.
I had no idea. That's kind of funny.
Yes,
It's too strong.
it's too strong. It's too strong. I want to know what they use like as a metric for like how broken an item is, because obviously like old enforcer, yeah, that's okay. That was totally broken. Why? Why did you nerf Expo? I want to know what the reasoning was in HQ. Why they just like, I don't know, somebody like brought it up. They're like, this experimental ring. I'm seeing too many blue stars running this thing. I think we're gonna have to nerf it.
Too many PPEs are picking this item up.
Yeah, you just see like I don't know, maybe like it's somebody at Deca staff that doesn't know what a PBE is, and they're trying to look at like the most used gear in the game, and they're like, why is experimental ring so high? It shouldn't be that high. We're gonna have to nerf it.
Yeah, I'm like actually trying to figure out a reason for them to, like nerf it, but I just don't. I simply can't figure out one.
It's like if they took Coral Ring, which arguably this one has more reason, but it's like if they took Coral Ring and they were like, yo, let's take that down by like 2 wisdom.
Oh my god, new C ring is crazy. When they like added that the mana percent or the mana cost percent reduct.
Oh, okay, so that's why people, yeah, I was seeing people with like rec sheets in, I think it was like Max F Fame Cults. They were like, oh, if you want to bring a Sork with a Coral Ring, and I'm like, man, is the Wiz like that much of a big deal?
Yeah, it's just kind of like a crazy item.
It's such a funny thing to just like buff out of nowhere.
I think it needed it. I don't know. I'm glad they do stuff like that at least.
It is nice. I like to see more viability from stuff from like the mid or like early game dungeons that like never get touched anymore. Like it was super nice. Like the Mad Lab Row buff, like initially when that first came out, I was so hyped for that.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Glad they do more stuff like that. I think they need to do more unique things though. I think I don't know. I think the entirety of Ocean Trench needs like a little bit of rework, and all the gear needs like a little bit more. I think Coral Bow still kind of holds up today. Not to like. Do you think bows are like the most? What do you think is the most OP weapon in the game?
Okay, it might be the Umi bow, especially with the recent change.
Yeah, I can
Because
see
not
it.
being in combat is insane.
Initially, I think a lot of people are super skeptical about the bow because of that reason. But like on its own, the damage is so insane. If you put that on a bard and like literally don't give it any buffs, don't use any DPS abilities, it actually straight up does more damage than somebody perfect spell bombing with a tablet and using a tier 14 staff. Like it's an insane amount
I
of
didn't know
damage.
that. I'm gonna be honest. That's absurd.
We were trying when Yin initially got it. We were trying it in the guild hall and comparing our damage numbers, and he was out damaging my best DPS wizard, which is fucking insane. It was on the 25
Jesus.
defense thing. It's 25 defense on the
Okay.
big target, right?
I think the big one is 50, and then the one that's top side is 0, the one that's bottom side is 25, the one that's left, which is the big one, is 50.
Okay, so it was the 50 target, so it might have something to do with that. But yeah, still, it's pretty insane that just Makako Yumi on its own can like out damage a straight up wizard.
Yeah, that item felt broken before the combat thing, and now with the combat thing, I think I gotta use that more. It's kind of stupid. I don't know. I don't really like bow classes that much, but that item makes them fun at least, so I should probably play them more actually.
As much as I like the Huntress, I don't really like the way that bows play, to be honest. I prefer like staff, and then for melee, if it doesn't have like divinity, I usually like do a swap between. This could be like an L take here, but I prefer having like divinity plus cheerful chipper. I don't really use a Sword of Majesty, to be honest. I just get up close if I'm trying to use a chipper.
Majesty does more damage than Divinity if you're hitting all shots.
Yeah, I know that. Like divinity is kind
Uh,
of like divinity's damage isn't that
but
great,
Divinity's
but
fun.
having the
It's a
range
fun item.
and the beam are like super nice because it's got insane wave clear. I was talking to my friend Loki yesterday and just running through Godlands. Wasn't even paying attention on my night. I just pressed I and was just walking around trying to find a crab. Like you literally don't have to give a shit. It just like clears everything for you.
Oh my god, hunting for crabs right now is like so silly.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. You're either like trying to, if you see Ents, you just like get on your Trickster, and if it's on like fucking like red demons, you're just like, okay, I'll go to Godlands and find crabs.
Yeah, I kind of want to do more guild stuff where we like go to a realm and just kind of like clear it slash kill crabs. I
Yeah.
did that like one day with 3 of us. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I was doing it with Cryo, I think. Cryo's been like super hard into doing the Oryx Manias, so I joined him, and yeah, me and my friend Loki went there and Goku was there as well. And then we ended up getting enough people where it was like not everybody was gonna get a solo. So we had to start like kind of divvying people up. And then also accounting for the other people who were also hunting for crabs and keepers. Pretty cool event so far though.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired of doing O3s at this point. We just had a free rune and then we have this. It's kind of rough at this point.
I enjoy this one a lot more just because, I mean, the loot, clearly, but like also just like being able to, like solos are just so much more fun than doing them in groups and just like
Yes.
sitting around competing for, oh, I'm going to compete for top damage, but I'm not beating this guy because he has Devastation Scepter.
Yeah.
I'm scared of this week, bro. I'm going to start doing hard modes again in like as a training runs, and I'm just going to eat shit
Okay, wait, how far? No, wait, you've completed it, right?
3 times out of like 10 in the past couple weeks, I'd say.
What are you struggling with?
It's just fucking patience. I did die in
Oh, okay.
balance like once or twice, I think. I'm just not good at hard mode.
I don't know if it does ever get easier. I think you just get used to like the bullshit it throws at you. So you're just kind of like, yep, I've dealt with this before. Like next is here, or you don't usually figure out like how to weasel out of some silly patterns.
My whole thing about it is I'm not completely used to like I'm trying to get my brain to like do the whole switch up where it's like, okay, my feet are my hitbox, but I can't always think of it like that in like strenuous situations, unfortunately.
Moonlight changes.
Oh my god. Kimono?
Dude, oh my gosh. They just like took these 3 goofy armors. I mean, kimono was okay, and then they just like made them like DPS armors. I mean, Wakibiki is like not really, but it's still like a good defensive option.
Isn't Hapia like usable now? Because that was like actual just cheater tier garbage before.
It's better than 215.
Really? Oh yeah, because you get
Yep.
decks based on your speed, and dagger classes are kind of insano with that.
Yeah, maybe it's not. I don't think it's better on Archer or Huntress, but on all the daggers it is,
Yeah, for sure.
which is crazy.
You know what's funny is that you counteract the buff on Hoppy by having something like Bloody Cloak on Rogue. Just another fucking Rogue L just like thrown out there.
Oh my god. Rogue isn't even a class.
It really isn't. I really want Rogue to be good. I shit on it all the time, but that's because it's one of those things where I'm like really upset where it's like stuck in 2012 and nobody wants to fucking buff it. Like I know if people wanted assassin buffs because assassin was like okay, but not that good. But Rogue needed it more. Rogue needed it way more than Sorcerer and Assassin, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know what they do to Rogue though. I feel like Rogue has its like it just has a niche and that's all it has.
You just have to change its tiered abilities. It's like the same thing with Ninja, except Ninja's usable because it has UTs that make it usable. Or maybe just add more gear for Rogue that like makes it good. Because like honestly, as it stands, it's just like Trickster with a much lower skill floor and skill ceiling, and much lower DPS.
I don't know what they do.
Buff it. I don't know. Buff it any way possible. Give it more speed. Just give it like 150 speed.
150 speed and then the hoppy is crazy and then it does so much damage.
Yeah, and then you like tap
Ooh.
your fucking A, and then you go like halfway across the O3 sync.
Yeah, that sounds super fun. I would want to play that.
I was kind of excited for enchantments in terms of like I wanted to try and find like some absurd builds where you can get like a trickster or ninja, for example, and then give it like 100 speed, and then do the speedy, and you get like 150. So I'm like a little bit disappointed that you can't just like stack an insane amount of one stat, but it's obviously more balanced that way. Because it would not be cool if you're walking around with a wizard with like 150 attack. That would actually just like blow up any boss instantly.
Yeah, you have 10 people with that and then the boss is dead.
Yeah. Can you imagine how fast Bridge Sentinel would be? Like you actually would get like jumps and then like one other phase, and then the game's over.
You could probably one phase it at that point if you're like, maybe not actually. You could two phase it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think they shouldn't have added like the plus base stat things. They should have just kept it goofy. Like all of the on hit procs and that stuff. Like that stuff should have stayed and then the rest of it should have went, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the like +3 attack is just yeah, whatever. But like having the oh yeah, I'm gonna get like berserk for 5 seconds, getting hit is like kinda cool.
Yeah, that stuff's fun.
I think I was looking at the armor. Was it the armors where you get like the on hit get speedy? Because that one looks like such a massive L, especially if you do Moonlighter Shatters.
I didn't even know that. What the hell?
There's a piece of gear that gives you like plus speedy on hit, which is just why. I don't know. Maybe it would be.
Is that like the helm?
I don't know. There's a piece of gear that gave speedy on fucking combat hit with the like
crazy
15% chance or something. But that's such a weird one. That would throw me off when dodging like so badly.
Yeah, that would just there. Okay, I forget like how long ago this was, but someone was telling me they had the idea of like a dungeon where one of the silly effects is like a certain shot will give you speedy.
Wait, somebody.
And so
who said that?
I don't know. But it could be like Moonlight Village type thing, and instead of like giving sick or something, it would like give you speedy and mess you up.
People would be so
I feel like
pissed.
that would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would also be really annoying to play.
Yeah. Can you imagine like Umi finale, but like you're just given speedy the entire time?
I mean, I've done it like high speed, but like not that high speed.
Yeah, doing it on 65 speed is pretty different from doing it on like, because any class base is going to be 50, and then speedy is like 50% speed, so you'd be 75 minimum on like any class, probably like 85.
I've done it with like 90 because I did it on like Trickster with Happy, which was silly, but
That's, I mean, you'd tap your eye, but when you're in Umi finale, you wouldn't be able to slow yourself down.
yeah, exactly.
What about the Crucible event? Do you like the Crucible event going on right now?
Oh, okay. Well, it's just like a straight buff to me since I've been playing an NPE for like a month. Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with the mode. I feel like it's not really worth it at all, which is I guess that's the problem with it. Like it's fun, but it's like if you want to do it for the reward, like there really is none.
Yeah, there's like cosmetic stuff, and then I don't know, there's chests, but like I think the Shatters chest is the only one that really fucking matters, to be honest. I guess if you're on an NPE, like you can find like an Omni for yourself or something, but I don't know, the
Yeah,
chests
or
aren't
like
enough.
me. I've been trying to get a laser pointer for my entire Sork's
Oh,
life.
now's your time to do cogs. You gotta stock them up too, because you're gonna. I think they're bringing the void one back, but like if you stock them, the chests are gonna be going on throughout the whole thing. So like you might want to like stock cog tokens just so that you can like pop them throughout the month.
Oh gosh, I just don't want to do any more cogs.
Nobody does. I hate that dungeon.
I mean, it's kind of fun when you're on Crucible or Petless, because like I don't know,
Yeah, you do have to pay
it's more
attention more
scary.
for sure. Because there's a lot of random shots that can just hit you, and it's hard to dodge everything. Like I think you could do a hitless moonlight more often than doing like a hitless solo cog.
Oh, that might be. Eh, I feel like Cog has some really easy phases. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. What if you get a
I think
minefield on your NPE?
I've hit list every phase. Minefield solo is like a nightmare. That phase has a problem, by the way. Like, what is going on there? Why'd they?
They need to make it in that phase so that the shields move around, like they grow little legs.
Oh, right. That stupid idea I had. Oh my god. Okay, advanced cog should definitely have the moving shields. So phase 2, they grow legs. They run around. You can slow them. You can paralyze them. And then phase 3, they grow wings. They start flying around a bit. They're like similar speed, but this time they like attack you. They shoot a little lightning bolt at you. It doesn't do much damage. It like exposes maybe. I think this is a banger idea.
Or we could add a 1 minute survival phase.
Ah, no. That's silly.
Yeah, who would do that?
Actually no, they should add one where it's like there's like a conveyor belt and there's like, okay, I'm not going to do this bit. I'm not going to do this bit. I feel like I've done that so much.
The conveyor belt plus the minion, it really upsets me deeply. I know there's like a way to safe spot it, but I can't. I'm just an L, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's such a funny phase, honestly.
It's so weird and goofy. It feels very DIY. They just kind of threw everything at it and they're like, well, they'll think it's fun. It's a sickened phase. I like how it went from initially in Lost Halls 1.0, there's a survival phase with Marble Colossus and a survival phase with Void. Like the reason it's called survival phase is because back then it was actually just a set time. So you just had to like just dodge for like a minute and a half. And then the game was like, okay, you've suffered enough, and then it would end. There's no like DPSing keys, there's no killing void copies. It was just you actually just sat there for a minute. People hated those, and so they started reverting to doing just like DPS hurdle phases. And then they come out with Moonlight and Shatters, and they're like, we're gonna bring back the survival phases, but this time it's gonna be good, and people actually like it now. But I also feel like that's because with MVC, like that phase is kind of dumb.
I mean, doing that stuff on old Flash was also a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know, the like if you get a lag thing and then the tentacles are all weird and like you teleport into a tentacle or something, I don't know. And then it's like, hey guys, bring 500 Puries.
Yeah. Yeah, they would always be like, hey, just bring a ton of Puries. Oh man.
Old Puri was so dumb.
It was absurd. I forget who I was arguing about it with, but like some guy was like arguing about like they should bring like Puries like use back. It's like useless now, and I'm like, well, the old way is not how it should be because that's absurd. The old way was absurd beyond belief.
If they brought it back, it would be like Puri Gemstone every run.
Because Pure Gemstone's already meta, so it would just be absurdly broken at that point. And it would just make the game too easy in so many different phases.
Yeah, then I don't know. It would just be like you either get instant popped or you mess up the second phase.
That's how the game was for the longest time. When there was like a super hard Discord meta for Old Shatters, Lost Halls, and I think it was just Fungals was the latest dungeon at the time. And so for those dungeons, there's like such a hard Discord meta of sit in a fucking group, get puried your ass off, and then like the only time you would ever die is if you just got one shot by like not paying attention to Malice's red circle or something.
Yeah, there'd be like an ice sphere.
Yeah, ice spheres.
While you're clearing second, and then like
it was a terrible meta because no one died, and it wasn't for the reason of the $200 auto dodge client.
$200 auto dodge.
Yeah, I have a friend that uses clients. I'm not gonna say who it is, but they said it was like $200. I do way back. Do you know? You remember Bert or Oxelli?
I don't.
So there's somebody they've done like a ton of we're gonna crash all the realm servers. They did that like 3 times. I think they made like a client with Crinks or something. But he, way back when, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, was in the Deca Debrief Discord, and he was showing off his auto dodge client. And we're kind of like hacker neutral because like we're not involved with the game directly. So we're just kind of like, if people are here, people are here. Like we're not gonna ban them for being a hacker. That would be kind of absurd. But he would always like show off these things like, oh, we're working on auto dodge client, and it's so funny to see it actually come to fruition around this year. I don't think he's in the realm just community anymore. I think he got like arrested or something. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I recently did True Me on prod.
Oh, nice. You get some lore?
I did it a bunch of times on testing, but I never got a Night Prince book on live.
What did you end up getting as the white?
Yeah, Soulfire.
Isn't there like another one you get, or?
You get a title.
Oh, I thought it was like title, Soulfire, and then you get like a scepter or lamp or something.
No, that's the old one. Used to give that,
Oh, okay.
which was weird because it was easier. I still don't get that. They're gonna add, or wait, this is like, I think this is like some conspiracy stuff, but they're gonna add a skin for the people who beat True Umi.
Oh, that would be really cool, actually. I mean, that's what, like 10 people that don't hack in the game.
I think it's like, it's an Umi sorcerer, so it's like Kitsune Umi, of course. So it's like a 16 by 16, and then a Night Prince Paladin. Of course, only like 12 people are gonna have it.
Yeah, just like a handful of people. It is still really nice, though. I actually like that.
I always thought the title was kind of like weird that was it.
Especially because like you can turn titles off, so it's not much of like a show off kind of thing, I'm not looking out for people that like have the name like Night Prince 80, but I think I don't know, it would be cool to like see a sorcerer and just see they have like the Umi skin and be like, oh, they completed True Umi. They're pretty good at the game.
Oh my gosh. Okay, speaking of True Umi, holy crap. When I was going for True Umi, it has a very big problem where you need to solo. No one can enter the dungeon at all. So there are moments where like it'll be two of you at the shrine, and I'm like, shoot, I gotta like ask this guy if he's okay with me soloing. And then I have to pray that he doesn't go in if he says yes. That happened a lot. And then like one time I got a shrine kill, and then 3 little knights that are like level 12 like up here, and they just TP to me and then go in right away. And I'm like, what? And then I can't do True Umi anymore, so I just kind of like leave because that's what I was doing like all of that day.
Yeah, I hope they fix that because it's a really, really rough mechanic for free to play players.
It honestly, like, there was a point where I was just like, man, I have to either buy keys or I just like wait for another miracle shrine.
Damn, that's crazy that you did it free to play though. Holy shit.
Yeah, not fun. Don't do that. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not good for your mental. It's so annoying.
It'd be really frustrating. Okay, we hit that 40-minute mark.
Holy crap.
I need to remember our
40
outro.
minutes?
I'm gonna check our Patreon to make sure that we don't have any patrons still, because we like make a little joke about like not having patrons because we haven't had any since a long time ago. But it would be kind of shit if I just said no patrons. Oh my god, I don't remember an email. How long has it been?
It's over.
It's over. We lost. Oh no.
Next.
Not now. Don't do that.
God, I can't believe you started this with I'm HRL in pub chats and VRL in pub halls.
I can change it. Do you want something else?
Oh god, they're all gonna know me for that. No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I just thought about how like weird that is of a thing to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not weird here, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's a different, I don't know, that's like what you would be known for in this community, so it's just like what it is, I guess.
It makes sense. It's just, what the heck am I doing?
Okay, there's no patrons. Yeah, it took so long to get back into the old page, but none, so we're chilling. Oh my god, what is our fucking outro? Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to support us, you can support us on Patreon. Link will be in the description. Shout out to DJ Kwan for intro and outro music. And thank you, Eddie, for joining us.
No problem.